This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Daily Mirror has launched an attack on reindeer hunting in Norway. In a story timed to coincide with Christmas, the UK newspaper announces that British hunters go to Norway to hunt reindeer. This will not be news to the 4 million people who watched Kayak Bryn's Norwegian reindeer hunt on Fieldsports Channel, but it took the London media by surprise, and we wheeled out Charlie to defend hunting tourism on TV chat shows. For its front page story, the Mirror used a photograph from the hunting outfitter, apparently without permission. Fieldsports Channel has had success this year helping copyright holders charge for photographs in national newspapers, and we plan to launch a multi-million-pound action against national newspapers in 2024.
I've just come out of GB News TV studio in London. You can probably tell hairspray is still working. This story's come about because newspapers are still stealing photographs of people going hunting from Facebook and other social media, and we can get money back from them for this. So if you've been affected by this, if a newspaper's taken your photograph and used it, please get in touch with me on the email address that's appearing on screen and we'll take them to the cleaners.
The RSPB has announced a list of wildlife it killed in 2022. The bird charity wiped out 400 foxes, 500 roe deer and nearly 1,000 red deer, as well as protected species such as barnacle geese and lesser black-backed gulls. In a statement, the organisation says its wildlife culls are legal and that nature conservation is often about making tough decisions. It adds that the decisions we take are judged by the outcomes we achieve, but it doesn't reveal the extent of the failures of projects in which it is a partner, including the Curlew project in Wales and the Kappa Cayley project in Scotland, or its refusal to take part in the government's hen harrier conservation programme. The Welsh Government is under fire again for ignoring the needs of rural communities. Natural Resources Wales has removed magpies from the 2024 new general licences for wild bird control in Wales. They no longer fall under GL1, which covers the control of birds which can cause serious threats to livestock, foodstuffs, crops, vegetables and fruit. Instead, those needing to control the birds will have to apply for a special individual licence. In 2022, NRW removed magpies from GL4, so the Welsh could no longer shoot magpies to protect rare songbirds. Both Basque and the Countryside Alliance criticised the new decision for making life harder for farmers and country people.
The Countryside Alliance does not believe that there is enough evidence to justify NRW's decision. They say that they've taken the decision because the magpie declined in its population in Wales from between 25 and 50%. However, what we must remember and put this into context is that the magpie population absolutely soared between the 1970s, 1990s, within that 20-year gap. And so we need to be aware really of where the measure has come from in the first place to have a look at this population decline. And furthermore, the UK population as a whole declined by just 4%. And so we need to put that into context as well. And we do not believe that by having the magpie on General Licence 01, as it has been in the past, has played a part at all in the decline in the magpie population. And so we feel there is not just enough justifiable evidence, yet again presented by NRW, to remove the magpie from General Licence 01.
Staying in Wales, and the National Gamekeepers Organization is supporting legal action against the Welsh Government for banning the use of humane cable restraints. It became illegal to use all snares in Wales earlier in 2023, despite pleas from conservation groups and farmers that their use was vital to protect threatened species from predation. The NGO has now given its support to a claim in the courts challenging Welsh ministers to reverse the ban. Wales is believed to have the largest population of foxes of any country in Europe. One of the species most under threat from them is the curlew. Gamekeepers fear that a snare ban will lead to their extinction in Wales. There's good news for pheasant shoots in England. The High Court has granted permission to Basque to bring a judicial review of Defras' decision to withdraw the GL43 general licence. By doing so, Defra banned the release of birds within 500 metres of European designated special protection areas in England, as outlined in a podcast we recorded with Basque at the Carter Jonas Game Fair Theatre. Link to that below. It also extended the English general licences into the area of game birds, which it had previously avoided. Basque is using its fighting fund to support the High Court challenge. Tony Blair banned fox hunting after a £1 million donation to Labour from an animal rights group, according to Peter Mandelson. Reported in the Daily Telegraph, the former business secretary claimed the organisation put the then Labour leader under pressure to ban the countryside pursuit. He said the debate got pretty transactional and said the animal rights body insisted on the ban in return for the cash. The new CEO of the Moorland Association has spoken out about the challenges he's facing in his new role. Andrew Gilruth says the world can't keep ignoring the importance of moorland as a resource for both nature and the economy.
I think some of the important challenges ahead are reminding ourselves that this open heather moorland is some of the rarest habitats on earth. I mean, if people seem to have forgotten that. We seem to know more about hay meadows in the south of England than we do about heather moorland in the north of England. And we've also got to be conscious about how we genuinely best look after and protect that. And it goes as a matter of record. You've only got to look across to Wales, which used to have some of the most productive driven grouse moors in the UK. After the Second World War, the keepers didn't return. That land was broken up and a lot of it was forested over. And as a result, those upland habitats have been lost. That's a matter of fact. We know that. There are some concerns that similar things may happen in Scotland, and clearly we need to act to make sure that we do protect those landscapes in England and those communities which depend on them.
Police in Lancashire have reduced hare poaching with dogs. The South Lancashire Rural Task Force says it's reduced hare poaching in its area by 2/3. It has made 8 successful prosecutions and seized 6 vehicles as part of Operation Galileo, which is linked to the National Wildlife Crime Unit. Here's something unusual from a Fieldsports Channel member. Rab Boyd snapped these pictures of a Baltimore oriole enjoying a snack from a bird feeder. Nothing unusual there until you realise that Rab lives in Fife, Scotland, and this little bird is a long way from its home in the USA. No one knew what the mystery bird was either until it was identified as an American visitor with help from the Scottish Gamekeepers Association. And finally, a team of Fieldsports Channel members are heading for an interesting Christmas, rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic to Antigua in the Caribbean. You may remember we spoke to former servicemen Tom Atkinson and Paul Roadnight at the 2023 British Shooting Show, where they announced a 30-day marathon row. They're currently 18th in the 4-man crew section of the world's toughest row, which started earlier in December 2023. With giant waves and little more than a bucket for a loo between 4 of them, they've gone for the least comfortable Christmas we can think of. We wish them the very best of luck, and you can follow their progress via the link below. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts. Have a great Christmas.